Hey Solomon, so I want to give you some feedback on this high street. Um, you came in at an offer at 271, and I think the ARV is probably around 360, 370. Maybe 375. So I didn't disagree with your ARV, but what I did want to point out is when you see a house in this kind of condition. You can see the roof line right here is this, it's gone. So this roof will probably need to be taken down to the struts. But when you see a house like this, um, that's in pretty darn rough shape, um, and you see a roof like that, then you kind of know that there's going to be a lot of exterior work going on with this property. Um, Probably windows and things like that. So this is the type of property that I would definitely encourage you to be more aggressive with the ARV, and let me show you why. So, if we were to come in at 271, I mean, this house needs $85,000 of work easy. And this is the type of property that when you see in that kind of condition, you want to be a little more aggressive, or not aggressive, but you want to, bring your ARV down to adjust for it because there's going to be so much rehab in it. So if we're to do 85,000 in rehab and buy it at 271 and sell in this range, the investors are going to lose, as you can see right here. Now you don't need to run this sheet for everyone. Just eyeballing it, you can quickly see that it's in really rough shape and it's going to need a lot more work than normal. So you might be better off to try to come in at something like this, like let's pull that up. An ARV, even though the ARV is, 370, um, you can override this. And so that would have been our offer. So you came in at 271. And I know what you're doing there, and we've talked about that before. If it's fresh on the market, maybe you're working off point 2. Okay, yeah, you are. So, but on something like this, I would override this just because it needs so much more work. It probably needs 30,000 or you know 30 to 35,000, 40,000 to be safe, more rehab. So you want to adjust your price down accordingly. So, or you can come in with a more aggressive AR or a lesser of an ARV, like 340, come in at 250. I'd be more comfortable with this house really at 225, 230, just for the amount of rehab, because that's what's going to put us at the numbers. So let's say we do 225 with this amount of rehab. That's the range of profit that these investors are going to be looking for, especially with a project this size, because it just needs so much work. So that's probably the purchase price you need to come in at. So when you see those houses in really, really rough shape, you're welcome to pull up the sheet and just kind of run that because you know the rehab is going to be more than normal, and kind of look at the profits. Is it going to make money or not? So you can do that, or just kind of ballpark it. Um, Another way that I would look at this one is I would look at the low solds because this is one of the worst houses in the neighborhood. So it's going to probably be selling somewhere in the lower part, not up here in the higher part or mid part because it's such rough shape. So like if we're to compare this to other 271s, 270s, this house is a little bit better shape. It's livable. The roof looked okay. So we know that we're not going to be you know, at that 270 just based on looking at some of the low solds in the neighborhood. We're probably going to be around this 220. Yeah, our house is a little bit bigger. Um, but looking at some of these lower solds, we know that we're going to be somewhere like this, right? So if you're struggling with it a little bit and you're coming in, whenever I make an offer, I'm looking to see where my offer is coming in relation to the low solds. Are we in the lower sold area or are we up here? And if we're up here, then I take a closer look at it because typically we're going to be somewhere down here, especially on a house in that condition. So that's just a little bit of feedback on that. I just want to run that by you. So when you see these really, really bad houses, just be more careful with your ARVs, and just make sure you're kind of falling in these low solds. Here's this 180. What's this? That's not a very good. I had a 300 and I dropped it all the way down to 180. So we're at 1,200 square foot. So we know we're going to be somewhere in this area with based on our square footage. Anyways, hopefully that helps.